Death is a word we usually associate with sorrow or sadness. In some cultures and customs, it's associated with rebirth, returning home, the beginning of a new phase or transition. However we define it, it brings sadness to those left behind. There's a sense of loss, as if a hole was ripped out of your chest. How does one recover from such pain and heartache, especially if the loved one was such an important figure in your life? No loss is easy. The pain resides within oneself for years. But eventually the pain recedes little by little. What once felt sharp as a knife eventually becomes a dull pain until one day we can look back on the person and smile every time we think of them. A flood of emotion can take over your very spirit until it recedes and dies away. They come and go in waves until it becomes less and less. One may experience sleepless nights thinking about the would've, could've, should've, but none of those thoughts will change anything. Regrets may pile up and perhaps some guilt about what more we could have done, or perhaps some anger at situations that are out of your control, like what took place with this pandemic, which very much restricted people's movements. There are so many things that come to one's mind when dealing with loss. So how do we recover from it, and what can we do to better cope through this situation? Hi everyone, I'm Aya and I'm a metaphysical practitioner. I'm happy to share information that comes from examining each experience that we deal with, explaining it from a more metaphysical point of view. And what I mean by that is when going into the many topics that I go over, I take the time to examine them carefully and feel what's taking place behind the curtains, so to speak. Oftentimes we are very much focused on the physical, which is natural, of course. And in this particular case, grief can hinder us from seeing all the activities that are taking place around us. Perhaps this is a time for you to adjust to the changes in your life. But I just wanted you to know that the loved ones you feel pain for are around you and with you, doing their best to let their presence be known. They're doing their best to bring down your sadness so that you can think as clearly as possibly can in this situation. They're doing their best. They're doing their best. Many thoughts come to our mind during such an experience, such as, where did they go? Are they at peace? Will I ever see them again? Are they around when I think of them? How do I know if they're okay? Are they angry at me, or perhaps there are concerns about an unfinished business and so on. Using my metaphysical abilities is not what many would consider normal, but considering the fact that we all have them because they are innate, must mean they're meant to be used. Therefore, shouldn't it be natural? It opens up our mind to other possibilities that are outside of what many of us have been taught. It's as if this information got lost somewhere or became hidden so that it would no longer be considered normal or natural. And what I find is that by looking at more than just the physical, we are better able to make good discernment of the information we receive, perhaps make better decisions, and see that our connection is further beyond than what we had thought previously. And that if we become aware of that connection, perhaps our bond is better forged. So there are many benefits to tapping into the metaphysical. It's only natural, and in these times, more than ever, there needs to be a course correction in where we're headed in life, and as a society, as society as a whole. I feel that it needs to start, from here. We need to look within ourselves and take a look at who we really are. And the reason I bring up the topic of death is because of a loss in my own family. And I prefer not to get too personal about this. And I also know that no one can escape from this. Eventually we lose someone because it's their time or for other reasons, and it leaves what feels like a hole in your heart. It's where you feel the pain. It's not in your head, it's not in your stomach. You feel the pain right here in your heart, and the weight of sadness is here. So, this is where your wave of emotions come from, and then it's expressed with different physical reactions, such as the feeling of, your heart palpitating, or the change in your breathing pattern, your chest heaving, your body shaking, tears flooding your eyes, and so on. These are physical manifestations of what goes on inside you. They are reaction from what's going on in your heart. But why do we have to endure such pain? Many of us believe, and I know some are atheists who may not, but in many parts of the world, many of us believe what some call, the afterlife, or going to heaven, going to the other side, going home, etc. If we strongly believe in such notion, then why do we mourn so deeply for them? Why do we feel like a hole has been ripped out of us? Well, I can't say this for everyone, of course. I can only say this for myself based on my own personal experience, but perhaps what I say here may comfort a few. The pain I feel, I believe, is my hold on physical reality. So, okay, for example, I see my dogs every day. I wake up, they're lying next to me watching me make my first move. We go for walks every day. I watch them as they get excited because it's almost time for their meal. They're by my side all the time, even as I'm making videos. If one day I lose either of them, I would be devastated. I can't imagine a day without them. I can't imagine that day ever coming. Of course, it's the same for anyone you love, who you've grown up with, shared moments with, laughed with, and argued with, and perhaps cried with. They're part of our daily life. When a loss happens, there's a hole, right there, plain as day, that you carry in your life. And that person who you spent your life with, or someone you used to call or chat with, come over for dinners, spend holidays with, is no longer physically there. That's hard, almost unbearable. Our physical mind is very much attached to the memories of that person, and can't let go of the fact that they're no longer there. They have left footprints here in our physical reality. Our focus is very much on their physical presence. But there is the spiritual aspect in us that's holding on to this belief that they are at peace, at home on the other side, or heaven. There's this belief that they are watching over us, and that they spend time around us. Where is this coming from? I feel that much of it is an inner knowing. The idea gives us comfort in the mind, but we take in this belief. Well, do we take in this belief just to comfort ourselves? No, I don't believe so. I feel that just like how you have a knowing about a person, place, or situation from your intuition, I believe it's the same when it comes to our loved ones going to the other side. Now, in my case, I woke up one morning calmly and was softly pushed to pull a tarot card, which wasn't and isn't typical for me, but I did anyway, to see what they needed me to know. And the two cards came out, and one talked about a family member who is going to contact me, but I didn't know or get who it was. And the other card was an image of a meadow, and I felt a sense of peace from that image. My guides seemed a bit guarded that morning, as if they were keeping something from me. I felt it and I knew it, so I didn't dig further into this. There wasn't like any bad feeling or intention behind that. So I was okay with that and calmly did my usual, morning routine. A couple of hours later, I received the news and I was quiet for a little bit, not knowing what to think or how to feel. And then suddenly my heart just exploded with sadness and I just broke down. I went to go lie down, sobbing in my bed, and suddenly I felt very calming energy being wrapped around me, and my heart suddenly calmed down, and I stopped trembling and crying. It was as if the energy numbed down my energy frequencies in my heart enough to make me stop crying. That's the best way I can describe it. And I felt his energy working on my energy, specifically in my core, solidifying my energy frequencies in my heart to calm me down enough to where I was able to hear him calling my name. So I listened calmly and was told to relay a message immediately, which I did, and listened to him talk for a little while with my other family members who are on the other side. And as I listened, I began to appreciate how I was able to be comforted by listening to his voice. And he was reassuring me that he was good and he was, in a better place and happier, and he could do so much more over there for us. I suppose, for those who are listening and probably asking themselves, wait, she can hear them? Yes, I can. And they call it clairaudience, but which basically means that I can hear what is inaudible to most people, which includes spirits. And no, this is not a gift. This is something I worked for actually while studying this area and doing plenty of exercises to get me to this point. And I know this knowing in me is that I haven't even reached my limit yet. It's certainly been a journey of self-discovery. Now, there are some who are able to do it from the time they were born, or perhaps at some particular moment in their life for whatever reason. And what I find is that I believe there's, a filter, or should I say like layers of filters that are put in place on the human mind. And for some individuals, some filters are removed for whatever purpose they have in front of them. And for others, perhaps it's to see how they experience life with certain filters left aside. But I'll get into that in a later video to best describe what it's like for me. As for being able to hear him, I've been able to deal with the loss of him in a way that's different, I would say. Because although he's not here in physical body, I can still feel his presence checking up on me and seeing how I'm doing. He usually comes to visit with, like other family members, because he's usually not alone. He's quite chatty. Being able to sit and have a conversation with him has indeed helped. It makes a difference knowing for sure he's well and happy and quite busy actually. It's reassuring knowing he's still around and gives me guidance whenever necessary, especially on family matters. It gives me comfort to know he's always within reach and that he looks out for us. But most of all, he's at peace and he feels fulfilled in the life he had lived. He lived a very full life. So I just wanted you to know that they are well and good, and the thought of heaven, other side, whatever you want to call it, is home, and it's where we go when it's time to leave. Nothing more, nothing less. So for those who have lost someone, my heart goes out to you, and I hope you find strength in being with your family members and close friends. Know that you are loved and that your loved ones are with you doing their best to give you comfort as you grieve. Remember, you haven't truly lost anyone. Remember to tell yourself that. They continue and will always remain with you. That's a bond that cannot be broken. I wish you all a wonderful day, and when you think of your loved ones who have gone home, send them some love. They love the attention they receive from you. It's not always being home on the other side and not being able to be seen by their loved ones here in physical body. So give them a shout out once in a while. Be happy and take care of yourself. Much love from Metaphysical Awakening. Thank you. Bye.